Imagine walking for 40 years. Not just a Sunday stroll, but walking through a scorching, endless desert with your entire community. Millions of people, flocks of sheep, and dust that somehow finds its way into everything you own. For the Israelites, this desert wasn't just a geographic location. It was a transition. And right in the middle of it lived a man named Zelophehad. We don't know a ton about Zelophehad, except for one crucial detail. He was a father to 5 remarkable daughters: Mahlah, Noah, Hoglah, Milcah, and Tirzah. In a culture where families were identified strictly through the father and sons, these 5 sisters were a tight-knit team. They grew up listening to the stories of a promised land, a place flowing with green grass, cool water, and permanent homes instead of temporary tents. They shared everything: chores, dreams, and a deep-seated faith. But life in the wilderness was fragile, and tragedy strikes. Zelophehad passes away. In the raw grief of losing their father, the sisters face a terrifying new reality. You see, in their world, property and inheritance, the ticket to survival and a future stake in the promised land, pass strictly through the men. With no brothers and no father, these 5 women were, by law and social custom, completely invisible. Their family line was, practically speaking, about to be erased from the map. Most people in their position would have accepted defeat. They would have whispered about the unfairness of it all, married whoever would take them, and faded into the background. But Mahlah, Noah, Hoglah, Milcah, and Tirzah didn't just want to survive. They believed that justice mattered to God. So, they make a choice that sends ripples through the entire camp. They decide to do the unthinkable. They are going to take their case straight to the top. Can you imagine the whispers? What are they doing? Where are they going? In a society where women didn't typically march into public assemblies to demand legal changes, these sisters walked side by side, heads high, through the sea of staring faces. They head straight toward the entrance of the tabernacle, the very dwelling place of God on earth. There, standing before the ultimate authority figures of the nation, Moses himself, the high priest Mahlah, steps forward as the spokesperson. Her voice, clear and steady, cuts through the murmuring crowd. She doesn't scream and she doesn't beg. She simply tells the truth. She says, "Our father died in the wilderness. He wasn't part of Korah's rebellion. He just died a normal death. But he left no sons. Why should our father's name disappear from his clan just because he had no son? Give us property among our father's relatives." Moses is stunned. This isn't covered in the rulebook. It's a completely unprecedented legal and social challenge. He doesn't dismiss them with a wave of his hand or tell them to go home and find a husband. Instead, he does something profoundly humble. He takes their case straight to God. He brings the petition into the holy place and lays it before the Creator. And God's answer doesn't just answer their question. It rewrites the legal landscape of a nation. Moses delivers the verdict. The daughters of Zelophehad are right. You must give them property as an inheritance among their father's relatives. Give them what their father was owed. Azar and the tribal chiefs, the sisters, don't back down. Just like that, history shifts. It is a moment of monumental victory, not just for 5 grieving sisters, but for human dignity. God doesn't just fix their problem. He establishes a brand new law for all of Israel. If a man dies without a son, the inheritance passes to his daughters. The story doesn't end at the tabernacle doors. The sisters return to their community, not as invisible outcasts, but as landowners, legacy keepers, and pillars of their family heritage. They secured their father's name, ensuring it would be spoken and remembered for generations. Mahlah, Noah, Hoglah, Milcah, and Tirzah teach us something extraordinary about faith and courage. They show us that approaching God and standing up for what is right isn't disrespectful. It's an act of deep trust. They remind us that our voices matter, that justice is close to the heart of the Creator, and that sometimes changing the world starts with simply having the courage to ask.